So I'm with EverydayFamily.com. We are a pregnancy and parenting website. And, as you know, October is National Fire Prevention Month. And I was looking at the statistics, and it says that on average, every 24 seconds, firefighters respond to a fire somewhere in the nation.
Correct.
And that's pretty impressive. That's often. So I want to talk to you today so that we can share with our members, what we can do to protect our homes and keep our families safe.
Absolutely.
All right. So first things first, what is the first step in preventing a house fire disaster?
So it's really awareness, right? You want to make sure that you cover several things. Prevention, detection, of course, then extinguish, and then escape. So prevention is that common sense stuff, right? Be careful around open flames. This time of year, people are starting to use heaters in fireplaces. So it's really common sense. Detection is really key. That is having working smoke detectors throughout the home. It's really recommended that you have them in every bedroom, as well as the common areas, including a basement, garage, and kitchen areas. But at the very least, have one on each floor. You got to check them though, right? Test them. This is a good time of year to go ahead and test those. Replace the batteries. If you do replace the batteries, I'd recommend using like this Duracell Quantum, which is a really, really long-lasting battery. Also, you can store these for a long time, like 10 years. So you can buy in bulk, keep them, store them. You don't have to worry about them losing their charge. And a lot of people didn't know this, but if you've got smoke detectors that are older than 10 years old, you really should replace them because they've really outlived their useful life.
Really? Okay.
And then, of course, the extinguish. You need to have working fire extinguishers throughout the house. You need to test those, or not test them, but check them. You can look at the meter and see if they're full and fully charged, so they'll be ready. And then, of course, an escape or evacuation plan is key.
Yeah. So you touched on a few things there. One, I remember my mom always telling me that you should set an alarm, like on your calendar, for maybe twice a year, every 6 months, to change your batteries and check your fire. What are they called? The detectors.
Yep.
So that's one thing that I've heard, and I think that's great advice. The other thing that you mentioned, having fire extinguishers in your house, and to be honest, I don't even think I have any. That's not something I've thought about, but it's something I obviously should. So where do people go out and buy fire extinguishers?
So of course, we sell a whole range of fire extinguishers, and a couple of things to keep in mind. There are several different types of fires that you can encounter in your home. You've got sort of a common household fire, there are electrical fires, and then there are flammable liquid fires like grease or gasoline, things like that. And fire extinguishers are rated for different kinds of fires. Kidde has a whole line that either work for all of those three types of fires. You can get specific kitchen fire extinguishers. They're designed really to work in a kitchen. So if you have a grease fire, the nozzle won't splash the grease, so those are good to have specifically. And then you again, depending on the size that you need to fit in different places, and store them where you can get to them easily. And then the biggest thing is you really have to know how to use them. Just having them doesn't do the trick. So one thing to keep in mind, and this is football season, so think about pass. So the first thing you do is pull the trigger. That's P. Then A is for aim, which is aim it at the base of the fire, not at the top of the fire. Then S is for squeeze the trigger, and the other S is for sweep, which means sweep it back and forth across the fire. And that should do it. But if it gets out of control, right, we're not firefighters ourselves, so know when to leave the house and call 911.
And that's another question for you. Say your fire alarm goes off, and we're lucky we have a home alarm system, and it does notify the emergency personnel immediately when that goes off. Well, they call you first to make sure that it's an issue, but and they notify for you. But if you don't have that kind of a system, should you be calling 911 before you attempt to put it out with a fire extinguisher, or should you attempt the fire extinguisher yourself first before calling?
That's a good question. I think in most cases, if you look at that fire and it's a small kitchen fire, for example, in a pot or a pan or in an oven, you can reach your fire extinguisher, give it a try first, but don't keep trying. Once it gets large, it's time to get out at that point. But you also don't want to call the fire department for unnecessary reasons as well. So you really have to sort of judge that for yourself.
Judge on a case by case.
And of course, smoke detectors are really important as well. So now technology has really come a long way. So we were talking about the kitchen, for example. This Kidde combo alert. This is actually for smoke and carbon monoxide, so people forget about
Okay.
carbon monoxide, but that's pretty important as well. And this is designed to help avoid those nuisance alarms, you know, like if you happen to something boils over or you burn your toast. This can really detect when it's a nuisance alarm and when it's not, and allow you to bypass this. Also, it's got a 10-year sealed battery, which is neat because you won't have to ever worry about changing the battery. And then,
Wow.
and I don't know if you're into smart technology or not.
Of course.
Of course, everybody is, right? So,
Yes.
so Nest has a series of smart products, and this is called Smart Nest Protect, and this is a smart carbon monoxide and smoke detector. So you can monitor it on your smartphone, you can control it and talk to it with your smartphone. If you get several of these throughout your house, they can talk to each other so that it will notify you not only what type of alarm it is, whether it's a carbon monoxide or smoke, but where in the house it is. And it even has an LED light built in to help you get out of the house in case of an emergency.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, talk to me a little bit about kids in the home and multiple stories. You know, a lot of families with multiple story houses, they'll have their kids upstairs and their master bedroom downstairs. What's the best course of action for that?
So you can't always count on being able to escape down the stairway. So it's really important that you have several escape ladders on that second story so that people can get out through a window if they need to. And hopefully you won't have to do it, but to have it just to be prepared. And of course, an escape plan, a safety plan, and then a meeting spot once everybody gets out is key as well.
Wonderful. Now, where can we go to get more information about all this?
So of course, come visit us in store or online at homedepot.com/fire safety, and you can learn all about the things we've talked about today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You know, this is a very important topic, and I'm glad that we're going to get this information out to our members so that everybody can be protected and we can bring awareness.
Right. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Dave. Have a great one.
You too.
Bye-bye.